Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Impacted fetal head at cesarean birth is one of the most dangerous and underestimated obstetric emergencies. Today, we break down the 2025 scientific impact paper and what every obstetrician must know. Impacted fetal head can therefore be described as a cesarean birth where the obstetrician is unable to deliver the fetal head with their usual delivering hand, and additional maneuvers and autocolysis are required to disimpact and deliver the head. Regarding the incidence, I would like to say that the recent single center and national UK studies estimate that impacted fetal head may complicate as many as 1 in 10 unplanned cesarean birth, that is 1.5% of all births. What are its risk factors? Impacted fetal head is a more heterogeneous condition than previously considered, and it is more likely to be encountered in cases of prolonged labor and augmentation with oxytocin and associated with the features of obstructed labor such as caput, molding, and low fetal station. So this chart is from the scientific impact paper about IFH, and here we have techniques for the prevention and management of impacted fetal head at cesarean birth. So what are the techniques for prevention, that is before starting cesarean birth, which include the manual vaginal disimpaction, means vaginal push method, and that involves introducing hand into vagina to move the fetal head up into the abdomen prior to making a uterine incision to reduce the likelihood of impacted fetal head. The second method is that of the fetal pillow method, which involves using an inflatable device in the vagina to move the fetal head up into the abdomen prior to making a uterine incision to reduce the likelihood of impacted fetal head. Then we will talk about the techniques for management when impacted fetal head is encountered during cesarean birth, and those include, first of all, uterine relaxation, which involves the administration of the medicines like tocolysis to relax the uterus and facilitate advanced disimpaction technique. Next method is that of the abdominal cephalic disimpaction, which involve using dominant or non-dominant hand to flex and lift the baby's head upward into maternal abdomen to deliver the head. Next method is that of the manual vaginal disimpaction or vaginal push method, which involves introducing a hand into vagina to move the head up into the abdomen when encountered impacted fetal head at cesarean birth. Next is that of the reverse breech extraction, in which hand is introduced in the upper aspect of the uterus, baby's feet are grasped, and the baby is delivered first by breech. Once the baby's shoulders are delivered, the head is lifted out of the pelvis. The last method is that of the Patwardhan method, which is a modification of reverse breech extraction, where the arms are delivered first, followed by the delivery of the breech. Once the buttock and the feet are delivered, the head is lifted out of the pelvis. So this whole chart is very important, and we will explain each technique in detail later on. The complications which are encountered include the increased risk of the extension of the uterine incision, the hemorrhage, the bladder and ureteric injury, with the long-term consequences for the woman in the future, such as spontaneous preterm birth, fetal head trauma, and the birth trauma such as skull fractures, subgaleal and intracranial hemorrhages. We should keep in our mind the medico-legal consequences as well. There has been a notable rise in the perinatal brain injury cases linked to the impacted fetal head, contributing to significant litigation and costly maternity claims. So now one by one we will talk about the techniques for prevention and management. The prevention strategies include, first of all, the manual vaginal disimpaction, that is done pre-cesarean and pre-incision, and that include the push technique. Alerts some obstetricians try manually lifting the fetal head after a failed assisted birth before cutting the skin. Second is frog leg magic. Legs in stirrup, thighs parallel to the tummy, that results in easier vaginal disimpaction. And team check is very important. Make sure the operating table support this without messing with anesthesia. And no proof yet method means the science says we do not know if it works out or not. Proceed with a caution. Now, what is fetal pillow? Fetal pillow is in fact the soft silicone balloon device. Vaginally elevates the fetal head before cesarean birth at full cervical dilatation, and aim is to reduce the trauma and speed the delivery. Now we'll talk about the trend and the use of the fetal pillow, increasingly used for impacted fetal head cases and used mainly in the second stage cesarean birth. Now, there are certain evidence issues of the fetal pillow as well. Some key studies retracted due to methodological concern, and many studies are low or of very low certainty, and the risk of bias, which remain very high. When we study the effectiveness of the fetal pillow, we come to know that meta-analysis show no significant differences in the uterine insane extension, postpartum hemorrhage, and 5-minute ABSCAR score. Regarding the evidence about the fetal pillow, it is written in scientific impact paper that there is no robust data on the decision to delivery interval or the cost effectiveness of it. There are certain limitations of the fetal pillow. First of all, it is not a universal solution for impacted fetal head. It cannot be used if impacted fetal head is unexpected during cesarean birth, and if other disimpaction technique are required, that may still be in use, and high quality large trials are urgently needed. Now, practical notes about fetal pillow is that a device take about 1 minute to inflate, and only for a second stage cesarean birth it is effective, and it is not effective for first stage. Now, the problem with the management of impacted fetal head is that fetal head is impacted against the pubic symphysis, and there is no space for the standard hand insertion. So the primary solution may be abdominal cephalic disimpaction, which is usually effective in most of the cases. Now, the alternative strategies may be required if standard maneuvers fail, which include autocolysis to relax the uterus, secondly, the vaginal disimpaction or the push-up, reverse breech extraction, Patwardhan method, and novel devices which are under investigations. Now, vaginal disimpaction or push-up method involve an assistant inserting the hand vaginally to gently push the impacted fetal head toward the abdomen out of the pelvis. Now, the reverse breech extraction technique involves delivering the fetus by grasping and pulling down the feet through the uterine incision and converting the delivery to breech extraction. Now, regarding the management, we would like to say that there is evidence gap and no consensus on the safest or most effective technique is there. Practical consideration are very important to know. Multiple techniques may be needed in sequence, and clinical context is crucial. Now, there are certain systemic issues, lack of standardized care pathway, and limited multi-professional training. Certain risks are associated with abdominal cephalic disimpaction, which may include the skull fractures, or secondly, the techniques for hand insertion and head flexion are poorly described. Now, the expert observation regarding the abdominal cephalic disimpaction identified the best practices, common mistakes, and training gaps. Now, this abdominal cephalic disimpaction should be done by using a safe hand insertion technique. Introduce hand anterolaterally to get beneath the fetal head and keep the wrist straight, arm in the midline to avoid uterine angle pressure. And transverse diameter of the maternal pelvis is usually wider than anterior-posterior diameter. We need to know this thing. Now, the flexion is key. The flexed head has got the smallest anterior-posterior diameter, and that is easy to elevate. Now, the control elevation is very important. Keep arms straight in the midline and parallel to maternal body. Adjust the table high or use steps for better positioning. And face the woman's head, that is dominant hand or feet with a non-dominant hand, and use the whole hand to maintain the flexion during elevation. Uterine relaxation is important. Hand entry can trigger uterine contraction, and that makes the fetal head disimpaction harder. So, communicate clearly with the theater team and with the parents. Now, for uterine relaxation, autocolysis may be requested in the form of sublingual or IPGDN. The bottom line is that pause, plan, and communicate. Use short-acting autocolysis cautiously when needed. And vaginal disimpaction is in fact poorly defined in literature. It is often described vaguely as pushing up with a finger, and it lacks the precision and standardization. But this fingers technique is not appropriate. In fact, the whole hand must be used. So, training gap must be identified. and survey show many use 1 to 2 fingers like vaginal examination, which is not appropriate. So for vaginal disinfection, safety concerns have been raised. There are certain reports which show that there is risk of perinatal skull fractures. A mechanism is unclear, but point pressure likely harmful. So the correct technique matters. Whole hand, not fingertips, are used, and cup hand distributes pressure evenly. It improves the flexion plus elevation. Positioning is essential, and repositioning leg into semilithotomy position is important. Leg must be supported throughout the procedure. Teamwork is crucial, and there must be clear communication. Confirm the fetal position and direction of the flexion. Now, how to insert hand? Use sprinkled hand technique. Fingers introduced into sacral hollow, palm and fingers cradle the fetal head. Now, flexion is a key principle. Incorrect pressure leads to deflection. So, for vaginal disinfection, the pressure technique involves gentle, steady, continuous, evenly distributed pressure. Now, for this procedure, we should know when to stop. If there is no progress, if either clinician feel unsafe, in that case abandon technique and reposition the legs. So the bottom line is that vaginal disinfection is a skilled procedure, not just pushing up. Proper training and whole hand technique, flexion, positioning and communication are essential for safety. Now, reverse breech extraction is widely used internationally in the low resource setting, but there are limited training and confidence regarding this procedure. There are certain safety concern raised. Possible risk of the limb fractures are there with this technique. So experience matters. Risk may be reduced with the skilled trained operators, and training is very essential in such case. Next is the Patwardhan method. Patwardhan maneuver, which is modification of the reverse breech extraction, in which arms are delivered first, not the leg. And high skill requirement is there. It needs specialist training and repeated practice. Now, when is it useful? It is useful when there is occipital anterior fetal position and the feet are difficult to be accessed, and it is not a beginner technique. High level of the training is required for this procedure. So Patwardhan method involves, first of all, delivery of the both arms first through the uterine incision. Then is the grip technique, in which operator hook fingers through the both axilla. Then is the control traction plus fundal pressure. Assistant applies the fundal pressure and flexes fetal abdomen, delivers the breech. And next is the delivery of the head. After breech delivery, head gently lifts out, similar to reverse breech extraction. So there are certain safety principles regarding this safety. First, gentle skillful handling is essential. The bottom line is that Patwardhan method maneuver is highly specialized pull technique, valuable in selected cases but only safe in trained experienced hand. Now, extension of the uterine incision is done when the access is limited and there are a risk of unintentional uterine extension during the reverse breech extraction or Patwardhan maneuver. So the incision option to improve access include inverted T-shape or the J-shape incisions. Now, before extending the incision, ensure clear operative view. Protect the fetus with a non-dominant hand and hand placed between the uterus and the baby. Now, how to extend safely? Make a vertical upward incision, extend into the upper uterine segment. Now, it's very important that we should be aware of the Bandel ring that may be encountered in obstructed labor, and that represents a constriction between upper and lower uterine segment, and incision may need to be extended through the ring. Now, the bottom line is that when the access is inadequate, planned uterine extension with a T or J shape incision is required. That improve the safety and control, and it protect the fetus and proceed deliberately. Now, here we have the comparison of the technique for management. evidence from the systemic review, that is a key message. And different studies were done, 17 studies comparing the vaginal push-up, reverse breech extraction and Patwardhan method. 2,328 participants were there, 9 randomized control trial and 8 non-randomized control trial. The major definition issues were there. There was no internationally agreed definition of impacted fetal head, and some relevant studies could not be included. The vaginal push-up versus reverse breech extraction, when comparison was done, the vaginal push-up was associated with poor maternal outcomes, including increased maternal operative blood loss, length of operating time, risk of the postpartum hemorrhage. Now, vaginal push-up versus Patwardhan method. Initial analysis suggested that vaginal push-up was associated with a higher risk compared with the Patwardhan method. There was increased risk of the uterine incision extension, increased risk of the urinary tract injury, increased risk of the postpartum hemorrhage. Compared with the Patwardhan method, initial analysis also suggested that vaginal push-up or reverse breech extraction may increase the risk of incision extension on the lower segment, postpartum hemorrhage, maternal blood transfusion, and length of the operative time. So there are high risk of complication with vaginal push-up method. Now there are certain novel devices under investigation, which include the Teddyman tube, sea snorkel device, and fetal head elevating devices. Now here we have the Teddyman tube, which is a single-use hollow silicone tube, and that is inserted vaginally, but the clinical significance of extra elevation is unclear, and there are limited data in the real world about this tube use. Next is sea snorkel device. The sea snorkel is a disposable tube with ventilation port intended to release the vacuum between the fetal head and the vaginal wall. Next come the fetal head elevators, which are specifically designed to obstetric spoons, which look similar to single blade of obstetric forceps and that have been described to deliver the impacted fetal head. There are certain non-recommended techniques as well, but no proven best technique is there for management of impacted fetal head at cesarean birth. Non-technical skills are also used in certain cases. Anticipation and preparation is very important. Ensure senior neonatologist's presence to assist the birth injury. Communication and team working is very important. Reassure through clear, calm, ongoing communication. Documentation is very important. Better documentation lead to safer care and the stronger learning culture. Training. Simulation training improve knowledge, skill, and confidence of maternity team. Now, opinion is very important to know. Develop and implement a standardized multi-professional training program. Training should be evidence-based and consistent across the maternity unit. Now, this is the whole algorithm for impacted fetal head at cesarean birth. It starts from anticipation and preparation, diagnosis of the impacted fetal head, declare the emergency, call for help, pause, consider tocolysis, abdominal cephalic disimpaction, consider changing hand, inform the consultant obstetrician. Thank you for exploring the scientific impact paper on impacted fetal head with me. For more evidence based on obstetric content, subscribe on Obs and Gynae and follow our Facebook page for regular update, visual and clinical pearls.